What's going on, guys? Isaac Fleischer here, and welcome to another iHoopsFL interview. Now, before we begin, make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at iHoopsFL. I post all these interviews that I do, here on YouTube, or if it's on Sportscaster, or whatever, wherever I'm doing an interview in person. If I'm doing an interview, I'm gonna post the highlights on my Instagram at iHoopsFL. And then if you guys want to see any of the other work that I've done around the world of basketball, besides interviews, all my articles, I repost all those and I put those on my Twitter at iHoops Recruits. I write articles for a local company down here in South Florida, along with some recent recruitment info I've been putting up about some of these guys I've talked to here in Sportscaster. But anyways, enough about me. Let me bring on our guest right now. What's going on, my guy? How are you?
I'm good.
That's awesome, man. Appreciate you for coming on. But anyways, let's get right to this interview. So my first question for you is, I saw you were recently on an event with Trey Young there. So how was that?
I mean, it was fun, playing against somebody, you look up to and, getting to go at him. It was super fun that he actually came back, and actually played with us. So it was a super fun event.
And does he usually do a lot for Oklahoma?
Yeah, he has his own gym up in Oklahoma City. He comes back every now and then to give back. And it's his first time being able to come back since COVID. So, he came back and played with us. So, I mean, it was good.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And, just being named the number one player, at least for your class in the state of Oklahoma, what's that feeling like knowing that, out of all the players in the whole state that are your age, you're the one at the top?
I mean, it's good. I like, the recognition is cool and all that. But my goal is being one of the top players in the country. So,
And do people use that at all? Like, if you're playing a game, maybe for your high school or an A units like Oklahoma or something like that, do a lot of guys maybe use that as trash talk? Like, like, oh, like this is the number one player right here. Like, they messed up the ranking or something like that. Do people kind of use that to bring you down in a way?
yeah, I mean, it's not really to like bring me down, but I feel like people go at me more since I am the number one. And ever since I got that, I feel like people been coming harder at my neck. But I mean, I like it, So
And you kind of touched on it a little bit. You said, I just want to be the number one player in Oklahoma. I want to be one of the best in the country. What's kind of keeping you hungry and motivated after just achieving such a big accomplishment like that?
I've always been, I like the number one in the state is cool, but then I want to like, for me, I just want to be great, and to be great, I want to be, rankings don't mean everything, but in some way they do help. So like being one of the top players in the country is like a real goal of mine, and that's what keeps me going.
And is there maybe anything, I guess, in particular that just keeps you motivated? Like, I don't know, I don't know how to describe it. Like, is there something like else that keeps you motivated? Not like, you being hungry for something. Like, maybe maybe there's this, I don't know, this dog that walks around your house every day that motivates you to walk. So I don't know, there's something extra that's
Probably my
motivated.
parents. My parents do so much for me, so it's like if they gonna put out in what they do, then I gonna put out for them. So them working every day to get me where I gotta go, and them just doing what they gotta do for me, and me just pushing myself every day to be great.
And actually, sticking to your parents, so I'm actually surprised that I don't know how your dad found my account, but he found my account. He reached out to me for an interview you, and most parents are giving me these players with no offers, no rankings. They're
Yeah.
probably like 5 foot tall, not even 5'10" like yourself. Uh, there's probably not going to go anywhere. But your dad luckily, reached out to me with at least a decent basketball player. So I was super hyped about that. And just how much do your parents do for you in your basketball career exactly?
I mean, my mom's more of like the school part, but my dad's on the basketball part, and my dad's been training me since I was about like 3 or 4 years old, and we've been at it since then. So him putting in a sacrifice for me to be good and training me all my life, he's been a big part of it.
And you mentioned your parents. So I want to touch on a little bit. Race of parents is actually real quick. I'm gonna mute you every time I talk. So yeah, I'm because like there's a little bit of like a lag, or not lag, like a feedback. So I'm thinking you're kind of talk, but so anyway, sticking to your parents, it like kind of relates to your parents. So there's some stuff, it's called genetics. You happen to be blessed to be, a whole 5 foot, 10 inches tall. What are some of the challenges, being one of the probably the smaller players in the nation on the basketball court, probably, game in, game out?
You said what are some of the advantages?
Actually, yeah. Tell me advantages and disadvantages.
Well, an advantage is always being, I'm 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 fast, so being faster than most of the defenders I play. And some of the disadvantages is people, thinking they're gonna block your shot. You being smaller, so they're gonna try to push you around, think you're weak. But I mean, to me, I think it's an advantage in both ways because I'm quicker and I can get my shot off quicker than most people can. So I mean, I think it's an advantage in both ways for me.
So you think that like it's easier being small and that because I'm thinking, if I'm a small player, it's gonna be harder for me to maybe get by guys. It's gonna be harder for me to get shots up because they're probably gonna block my shot. But you're saying they just kind of think that because it's kind of like common sense. You're gonna think I'm gonna block the smaller guy's shot, but I guess in reality, like that's just never the case.
Yeah, it's not really nah. And for me, like I can jump. I'm athletic a little bit, so like people get shook when I like go dunk the basketball or something. People's not gonna think I can do that. So it's just like, yeah.
And would you hear me say when you dunk the ball, like I'm just going based off the way literally you feel like in your body, I guess, when you're jumping to dunk the ball, does it feel like you're flying?
Well, no, not really. I mean, sometimes when I really get up there, yeah. But like when I'm just regularly dunking, it's like nah. It's just like I'm jumping. But sometimes, yes.
And you said sometimes yes. Like, can you describe how it feels to fly? Because I'm never gonna know how it feels to fly, and that I really want to know how that feels. So, can you describe it anyway?
I mean, like some days, you're more bouncy than others. So like sometimes when you jump, you was like, dang, I was really up there. And then sometimes like I barely dunked it or whatever. But like sometimes you feel like, dang, I was really up there. Like, so I mean, it feels kind of crazy. I feel like you're walking on air a little bit.
And do you ever feel like nervous? I guess when you're that high, because I'm sure like your brain they kind of do things probably naturally. Like if I'm jumping from the roof to the ground of my house, like I'm probably gonna think for a second, like my heart's just gonna I like get super tense. Like I'm gonna get so stressed. I'm gonna be like, crap, I'm about to die, and like I'll probably like land on my feet, but you'll just kind of be scared for that 1 second, like when you're kind of going down or when you're kind of at the top about to go down. Do you ever feel nervous? Like whoa, like this is getting out of hand?
Yeah, like I happened to be last year. Jumped up for like a layup, and I think I jumped kind of too high for my than I thought I was. And the dude's kid set up for a charge, and I fell face first and hit my face on the ground, and I had to get stitches and stuff on my chin. So ever since then, I've been kind of nervous, but like it's not as bad now. I think I got over the fear because now I can actually jump. So me just when I jump, I make sure the defender's not under me. So if I have to hang on the rim, then I do, or I just have to know more or where the people are at. So I just kind of figured out how to avoid it now instead of just not having that same thing happen again.
And you just told me, like you did kind of get over that fear, I guess, of like maybe, just jumping when someone's in front of you and that charging stance. But I'm sure still like you're telling me you got over it, but I guarantee you, well, like no offense saying this, but I guarantee you at some point that similar scenario will happen again. And I have a feeling you might, get a little bit like scared or get some quick flashbacks to that thing. Like how are you kind of able to handle almost like fear in a way, just getting hurt or just getting stitches again from a scenario like that?
I just got to make sure I like protect myself. So like make smart decisions on when I jump and how to land right and that stuff we work on like balance. How to land right, make sure people's not under your feet and stuff. Because some people are out there to intentionally just foul. So especially in school ball. So I mean, you just got to figure out a way to protect yourself. So
Yeah, but I guess like the main reason why I asked this question, like you didn't do anything wrong with your response, but I guess like the main reason why I asked the question is because I feel like when you're playing basketball, like you got to think obviously, but you at the same time like you got to play loose. Like you can't think the whole time. All right, I have the ball here. Like I gotta make sure I don't do this. Gotta make sure like you kind of need to focus on the plays and making the right decisions. Passing. But I feel like in terms of thinking like about your body, like if there's a ball on the floor and like you're diving to get it, like I feel like you shouldn't think, oh, let me make sure I get my hands out first and then go. Like you just kind of gotta do whatever feels natural. Like how are you kind of able to balance out those things? Because now you're probably thinking a lot, when you're doing these bodily movements during basketball games. Like does that make it a lot harder to play? Because I feel like when you're playing basketball or any sport, you got to play loose too. So
I mean, yeah, you gotta do a lot of movements, but we work on like a lot of like strengthen the muscles that we hurt a lot, especially my ankles, because my ankles like to trip out a lot. So I take them up and I work on certain movements that we do. So when I in the game, that it doesn't hurt, or I go this way or go hard this way. Just make sure that I work on those in practice. So in a game, when I step hard that way, it won't do anything to affect my health or any of my bones in my body.
And something you said that I thought was a little bit funny. I just want to ask this: like, guys will walk in the gym and they'll, like do a layup and they'll just be like, "Ooh, like I'm feeling so." Like they'll those like, "Oh yeah, I feel so bouncy today." I'm like, how do you know, and why is it almost inconsistent with the bounce, and like how can you tell so fast? Like, all right, today's gonna be a really bouncy day.
I mean, like some days you can walk in and you can like jump. You be like, it's not a good day because like your legs, you can just feel it in your legs. And then some days you can walk in there and you can just like jump up once and you be like, man, my legs are feeling good today. And I don't know why it's so like weird, but like everybody does it. Like even some of the bounciest jumpers be like, man, my legs ain't feeling today. But I have no idea. I don't know why it's so like one day you so bouncy and one day you not. But I don't know. I don't know what the deal is, but it happens a lot.
For sure, man. Appreciate you for sharing that. Because again, I will never understand how it feels to be bouncy or have bounce or anything. Even though I'm taller than you, but still, like I'll never understand that feeling really. But I want to know what are you looking forward to most for this season, if there is one.
We got last year. We had some seniors graduate, but we had a lot of freshmen that came up. And my little brother gets to play with me this year. He's a freshman, so that's one of the most things I'm looking forward to is playing with my brother. And my cousin moved down here, so I'm looking forward to playing with them too also.
And I know your dad's a trainer. Is he a coach at your school as well, or is he kind of separated from that?
No, he's my head coach in my high school.
All right. So you're telling me, so your team, so it's you, your brother, your dad, and your cousins are all on the same high school team?
Yeah.
I mean, just how awesome is that? And like, just go into it a little bit more. Like, how excited are you? Just looking forward to, going to war, every day, pretty much with not just like your family, friends, with your literally like blood family.
I mean, we grew up together from like day one. We grew up together, so I mean, it's super fun. Looking forward to playing with them. And they grew up the same way I have, training all the time. So I mean, my brother's right behind me, so he's a freshman. So I mean, he's been watching me do what I do, and he's been right with me the whole way. So it's gonna be fun. I can't wait.
And describe to me, when all you guys all are all on the court together, how does your family like to play basketball?
All of us are fast, so we like to play fast, and my brother has some of the same skills I do, and then my cousin is like a defensive lockdown, so he's the only person that has ever been able to stay in front of me most of the time.
And just out of curiosity, do any of your cousins have any Division I offers as well, or your brother? Or are you kind of the only one for now?
I'm the only one for now.
All right, because I was going to ask about teaming up, but someone else want to ask. So you said one of your cousins, is like one of the only guys that could lock you up. When you guys playing one-on-ones, if it's like a family gathering or something like that, is how intense are those?
I mean, they get pretty intense. Especially we got a goal outside, so the goal we'll be out there all the time during night, and they always most of the time they get very intense, but they know it's all love. We get back inside, it's all back to love what we've been doing, but out there it's like we be going at it.
And what was it like playing AU basketball this summer for NP Force or Next Page Force? That's their name, not abbreviated.
It was fun. One of my friends played on that team, Trey Alexander, and him and my pops are super close. So it was like one weekend they was like, he asked and he was like, "You want to come play with us?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I went down there, practiced with them for the first night, and then we was playing in showcase games, and it was just real fun because they had a lot of big names, and it was just fun to play alongside them.
And something you never said though is that you were playing up for AU basketball on a pretty stacked team. So how is that playing up with not just a bunch of nobodies? You're playing up with, like you said, a bunch of well-known guys.
Playing up with them is good, and it helped me out a lot. So like playing up with them, they were giving me like little bits and pieces of their game and what they thought, and how they how they treat the game. So I mean, it was just good picking their brains, because there's some of the top players in the country and something I want to be. So it was fun.
And I'm not going to say I'm surprised to see this, but when someone says I'm playing up, I'm not expecting them to do, well like you did. But you received the honor of being one of the top performers at the Who Wants to Smoke showcase in Atlanta. So, what do you think led you to so much success at that prestigious event this summer?
I think just going in there and not having any fear, especially me being small and just playing my game, especially because we played against so many top players and good teams that have all the big names, and me being able to go out there and do well, just kind of shocked everybody. So it kind of helped me out a lot.
And I want to ask about one of your teammates, a little bit later, but someone else, Deshaun Ruffin, he's kind of on the smaller side too. Does he give you a lot of advice? Like, does he ever call you like Deshaun Jr. or something like that? Because guys, I guess both small guards, or what's kind of relationship like with a guy like him?
I mean, we haven't really talked since that tournament, but like during the tournament, we talked a lot. Not really like off the court, but on the court, he gave me little bits and pieces of what he thought, like trying to help me out because I was taking his spot when he went to the bench, and like he wasn't feeling that well, so I started like two games out of the tournament, and he was just on the bench, trying to tell me, what I need to do and what I could do better to help this situation and that situation. So
And you mentioned to me again, kind of the reason why you got into MP Force was Trey Alexander, one of your good friends. So yeah, again, he's one of your great friends. He's also the number one ranked player in his class in the state of Oklahoma as well. So what's your relationship like with him, and how much has he helped you throughout your basketball career?
I mean, we met him and my pops have been friends for like the longest, and we didn't meet till about my eighth grade summer. We met my eighth grade summer, and then we didn't really, like get that close. But then my freshman year, we played with Griffin, and we both played with Griffin, and we got like super close after that. So we talk on like maybe a 2 weeks basis. We talk a lot, and I went up there and stayed at his house for a little while and trained with him and his dad. So I mean, he's helped me a lot because we both go at it when we play each other, and we just get each other better when we're in the gym.
And I guess because at least the way you said it, like this relationship, it kind of started to spark, kind of recently in a way. So, why have you guys kind of gotten so close?
I think because my pops and his pops is close. Us just being together and like our pops knowing each other, and we can relate to stuff because they both the same way. So it's just like me and him just got super close after that. We can relate to the same things. We both like basketball, and you build so many relationships through basketball. There's not much really say.
And Trey Alexander, I mean, he definitely has a chance on being one and done, obviously. But let's say, he wants to stick around for another year. Is that a guy that you would just love to team up with in college?
Yeah, for sure. If that could happen, yeah, I would love to team up with my man.
And sticking to colleges, how has the recruitment process been?
I mean, it's been good. Most people would say it's like stressful, but when colleges reach out to me, I think it's fun. And it's kind of like a state of saying like your hard work is paying off because they're still interested in you and like they're giving you a chance to go to their program. And not many players get to do that, and they don't get a lot of calls. So I mean, me being called and getting texts from college coaches is just a blessing.
And which schools have been contacting you the most out of the ones that have offered so far?
Akron and UMKC text me on a weekly basis. They check in with me. They call me almost every week to let me know that they're still with me and just checking up on me, seeing how I'm doing and stuff through these hard times.
And you just told me, they're checking up on you weekly, making sure you're doing well and all that. I'm sure I almost could guarantee it, unless something terrible happened. Like you never know what can happen, but I have a good feeling a ton of more offers are going to come. But just knowing that those two programs, they're just keeping constant contact with you. And just a few schools have reached out. So how much are you going to consider, how loyal they've been to you when it comes time for you to make that decision of where you want to play college ball?
I mean, that's the thing about me. The people that recruited me first are always going to be there, no matter what. Because we're showing me interest first. The ones that are coming late, in the middle, but the ones that recruited me first, you can never forget because that's the one that made you got your name out there. So I mean, the ones that recruit first is always going to be in being my top ones.
And I want to ask because I know like I think Matthew Cleveland had either like Duke or UNC or just one of those big schools, knocking on his door almost right before he committed to FSU, and he said like, yeah, they probably would have been in there, but they reached out to me too late. I had my top five pretty much ready. I wasn't trying to change it up. Is that kind of the thing you're gonna do too? Like maybe unless it's your absolute dream school that you loved as a kid, maybe like if any other schools reach out to you that are pretty well respected programs, you kind of be like, no, sorry, it's too late. I got my schools and good luck.
I mean, yeah, because I'm big on loyalty, and they've been loyal to me since this year. When the recruiting process started, they were one of the first ones to reach out to me. So I mean, yeah, I'm big on loyalty. So if you hit me first and showing me interest and you keep me updated and you still texting me continuously, then yeah, you always gonna be there. If you come late, then I mean, I don't know what to really tell you.
And why is loyalty? Because again, I doubt that this kind of goes. I doubt this is just a value for you in terms of recruitment. Like I'm sure you kind of carry over, the value of loyalty throughout pretty much your whole life. So just why is loyalty just something that you value so much?
Because loyalty is a big thing. Because I mean, like, if you're loyal, people gonna respect you more, and it's just a respect thing. Being loyal to people and not telling lies, being fake and all that. Just being straight up and being people and stick to the thin and the thinnest. So I mean, it's just a big thing and a great trait to have.
For sure, man, that's awesome. And just going back into the recruitment. So out of the schools that haven't offered you yet, which ones are showing the heaviest interest?
I talk to Arizona a lot, like almost on a weekly basis. I've been talking to Dartmouth and Howard almost on a weekly basis. So
And out of the schools, I would ask about Arizona because they're pretty much like a blue blood, but I'm actually not. And I was going to ask about Dartmouth if the other school wasn't Howard, but University of Howard, or actually, is it the University of Howard or Howard University?
Howard University.
Oh yeah, so Howard University. I mean, they got Maker. I know they've been offering a ton of guys recently, and I was even hoping they were going to get Josh Christopher, but that ended up not happening. But that's what I really wanted, actually. But he ended up not committing there. But just a program like that, when they do offer, like, is that going to be a school you're really, really considering? Because I know they're high on academics. They're definitely going to be great at basketball, and just the whole HBCU culture and just doing something even bigger than basketball in terms of just academics and just leaving a legacy for the kids that will come after you. How much will you be considering them if they end up offering?
They'd be considered a lot because and my auntie went to school there, so she pushes it a lot. Like if they ever offer you, you need to go here and go to. Like, they just it's just a hysterical school and it's hard to pass up. But yeah, they would be considered a lot.
And even though it seems like a talk, unless it's kind of like these guys have their decisions set earlier, but it seems like a lot of people are saying HBCU is going to be the wave, but we've pretty much only seen like very few guys do it. Very few like big time guys do it. So do you think it's just kind of because they have their decisions made already, or do you think there's all talk, or maybe do you think it may maybe start with your year, the year after 2021, that they will start that wave going?
I mean, I think some people are serious about it, and then I think some people just do it for clout, like trying to blow up all this and saying they're gonna go here, but really not end up going there, or say like they want to go to a HBCU and then have a HBCU reach out and then not really even end up considering it. But I mean, yeah, if Howard or any other HBCU considered to offer me, I'm gonna consider it no matter what.
Yeah, I mean that's really awesome because I mean, yeah, we see people. Well, I think I'm not gonna assume Mikey Williams is taking that thing seriously because he didn't put just one in there. So unless unless I look like an idiot saying that, but he put a more than one in there. So that would be a waste of the other schools. But anyways, my final question for you is that by the time you graduate high school, what do you want to be remembered as?
I want to remember that as a fun, like, loyal guy. And he was a good athlete, but he was about business and he was just a fun guy all around.
That was kind of contradicting in a way because you said you don't want to be more than an athlete, but then he wants to be all about business, but then a fun guy, a fun guy overall. So, what do you kind of mean by that? Because that's like two contradicting things: being all business, but then being fun.
I mean, like, he's about his business. When it comes to like schoolwork, he's not the type that's gonna like play around with you. Sometimes, but like out of school, off the court, I'm like a fun kid. And I'd like to have fun. But when it gets to the school, I'm about business, and on the court, I'm about business. So.
Sure, man, that sounds awesome. So, anyways, before we end the show, is there anything you want to plug or anybody you want to shout out?
Yeah, I gotta shout out my Uncle Denny, man, because he been begging me to do this. So I'm gonna shout out my Uncle Denny. Hope he see it.
He was begging you to do like this interview or just interviews in general?
Interviews in general. He been on my neck about it, so I gotta give him one.
Yeah. Well, why is he stressing that so much?
I don't know, to be honest. He's like a funny dude. So I mean, he likes to play around. So it's just something I gotta do. I gotta do for him, and I did it. So when he see it, I'll make sure you know.
Yeah, I mean, not gonna lie, if he's funny, like I might need somebody because when I'm telling like schools or teams like, hey, you should let me interview your guys, I need them to understand like it's not just benefiting me, like it's slightly benefiting you guys as well. So maybe he can make me like a little commercial or a little script, I'd appreciate that from your uncle if he give me something to send to people how it benefits the players as well.
Got you.
All right. Wait. I want to make sure. How do you pronounce? Tell me how you say your name. I don't want to mess anything up just in case.
Adonte Hollman.
All right, fine. That was a lot easier than I was expecting. Well, anyways, before the show, make sure you guys give us a follow on Instagram at or wait, how would you say? Actually, I'm just gonna assume it's Tay Hollman. No numbers or nothing. All lowercase Tay Hollman, no space, period, underscores, nothing. Just straight up Tay Hollman. Hope I said that right. Wait, nod your head if I said that right. I want to make sure. Nod your head if I said that right. Your Instagram, Tay Hollman. All right, good. And then make sure you guys follow me on Instagram as well, iHoopsFL. Anyways, for the number one player in the state of Oklahoma for the class of 2022, Adonte Hollman. I'm Isaac Fleischer, and this has been another iHoopsFL interview. Peace out, guys.